What if everything you know about resilience is wrong? What if I told you that everything we've been taught about resilience, pushing harder, climbing higher, doing more, is completely wrong? What if the secret isn't to push through the chaos, but to simply stop? I learned this the hard way as a paramedic. I was living on adrenaline, thinking I was saving lives and thriving, until my own life started to fall apart. When I joined the ambulance service, I was full of pride and ambition. I'll never forget standing on my lawn with my 4-year-old son on his first day at school, wearing my uniform for the first time. It felt like I was stepping into a meaningful life of purpose and service. But what no one told me was that the job doesn't just challenge your skills, it challenges your soul. You're trained to handle heart attacks and car accidents, but no one prepares you for the quiet toll it takes when you see a grieving mother holding her child, or hear the drop of silence after losing a patient. Here's something that most people don't know. Paramedics are 10 times likely to die of suicide than the general population. And they're 3 times more likely to experience PTSD. And yet the emotional tools to deal with this didn't exist in my training. I thought I could handle it all. But little did I know, I was carrying more than I realized, both in my work and in my life. One day I was first on the scene at a major incident. 5 casualties, chaos everywhere, and I was the only medic there. My phone was in one hand, the radio in the other, but for the first time in my career, I froze. My brain simply wouldn't work. Something I'd done hundreds of times suddenly felt impossible. I didn't realize at the time, but my body had been stuck in fight or flight mode for years. And that moment, my nervous system finally hit a wall. So here's the science behind it. When you live in constant stress, your brain's prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking, starts to shut down. Chronic stress can rewire your brain, leaving you stuck in survival mode. That day, I realized something had to change. I was missing the moments that mattered, like my son's football matches and his laughter, because I was just too busy surviving. The cost of this resilience I thought I had wasn't just my own burnout. I was missing out on my life. I reduced my hours at work, and for the first time I tried yoga. At first I hated it, sitting still, slowing down. I found the stretches difficult. It felt impossible. After years of rushing through my life, simply being on a mat with no distractions was one of the hardest things I'd ever done. And then came Shavasana, the practice of lying completely still at the end of the class. I remember the teacher saying, "You are enough just as you are. There's nothing to do, nowhere to be." And for the first time in years, I felt my body start to relax. And here's what I discovered. Shavasana wasn't just relaxation, it was the ancient practice of Yoga Nidra. Studies show that just 20 minutes of Yoga Nidra can have the same restorative effects as 4 hours of sleep. And that 2 minutes of stillness became my lifeline. As I continued practicing yoga, something shifted within me. It wasn't just my body releasing tension, it was my perspective on health. For years, I thought health was about fixing problems when they arose, but yoga taught me how to work in harmony with my body and not against it. I discovered what my body truly needed to be healthy: sleep, nourishing food, mindfulness, and movement. Yoga opened the door to a world of healthcare that wasn't just reactive, it was proactive. As a paramedic, I've seen the miracles of modern medicine, but I've also seen people relying on medications without exploring lifestyle changes that could transform their health. That's when I began to study integrative and functional medicine. I realized that we can empower people to take charge of their well-being and not just to treat symptoms. Today, my life is completely different. I'm still a paramedic, still saving lives. But now I also save my own. I've learned the power of balance. I make time for my son and my granddaughter. I enjoy moments of stillness and taking care of my health so that I can give my best to others to maintain theirs. And the work-life balance I've created doesn't just make me healthier, it makes me better at what I do. Because resilience isn't about pushing harder, it's about knowing when to stop, breathe, reset, and be present. And that has made all the difference. So here's the hard truth. Resilience isn't about doing more. It's about listening to your body, regulating your nervous system, and embracing a proactive approach to your health. Yoga didn't just help me survive, it helped me thrive. Resilience isn't just about doing more, it's about knowing when to stop.